This title is presented to you by Soundlibra.com. For more audiobooks like this, click the link in the description or visit our website at Soundlibra.com. Welcome to the Presence Principle. Be fully here, transform. I'm Alex.
And I'm Lisa. We're excited to start this journey with you.
Today, we dive into the heart of what it means to be present and why it matters. Just a quick heads up before we jump in. While we're discussing mindfulness and mental well-being, this isn't medical advice, so please consult a professional for your specific health needs.
That's a great point. So, Alex, what exactly do we mean when we talk about presence? It sounds simple, but I think it's something many of us struggle with.
That's a great question, Lisa. At its core, presence is about being fully here in this moment, with your attention undivided. It's about experiencing life as it unfolds, rather than being lost in thoughts about the past or worries about the future. Think of it like this. Imagine you're eating a delicious meal. If your mind is racing about your to-do list, are you truly tasting that food, enjoying the experience? Probably not. Presence is about engaging with what's happening right now, using all your senses and your full attention.
That makes sense. It's so easy to be physically somewhere, but mentally somewhere else entirely. I know I'm guilty of that. We're constantly bombarded with information, notifications, and demands on our attention. It feels like a modern epidemic.
It truly is. And this constant sense of being pulled in a million directions has a significant cost. When we're not present, we miss out. We miss out on the subtle joys of everyday life, on genuine connections with loved ones, and even on opportunities to do our best work. This distraction epidemic can lead to stress, anxiety, and a general feeling of discontent, like life is just passing us by.
So, by cultivating presence, we're essentially learning to reclaim our attention and, with it, our lives?
Precisely. This podcast is designed to be your guide in that reclamation. Over the next 12 episodes, we'll explore practical, actionable strategies to help you anchor yourself in the present moment. We won't be talking about abstract philosophy. We'll be exploring concrete techniques you can use every single day.
That's incredibly valuable. Can you give us a preview of what listeners can expect as we move through the series? Where do we start with building this presence principle?
Absolutely. In our next episode, we'll delve deeper into understanding distraction. We'll examine the common causes of our wandering minds and the specific ways they impact our well-being and productivity. Knowing your enemy, as they say, is half the battle.
So, episode 2 is all about identifying those distractions. Then what?
Following that, we'll introduce you to sensory anchors. These are simple, powerful tools that help ground you in the here and now by engaging your senses. Think about the feeling of the chair beneath you, the sounds around you, the scent in the air. We'll show you how to intentionally use these sensory inputs to bring yourself back to the present when your mind starts to drift.
Sensory anchors. I like the sound of that. It feels very tangible.
It is, and it's incredibly effective. And then we'll dedicate an entire episode to the power of your breath. Your breath is your constant companion, always available as an anchor to the present moment. We'll explore simple breathing exercises that can dramatically shift your state of mind and bring you back to center, no matter how chaotic your surroundings are.
I've heard about the benefits of mindful breathing, so I'm eager to learn more about that. What comes after breath work?
We'll then move into mastering your technology. In our modern world, our devices are often the biggest culprits for pulling us out of the present. We'll share strategies to use technology intentionally rather than letting it use you, helping you reclaim your focus and attention.
That's a huge one for so many people. I'm already feeling more present just thinking about it.
It's all about building awareness and making conscious choices. After addressing technology, we shift to how presence impacts our interactions with others. We'll explore deep listening specifically, learning how to be truly present for the people in our lives, transforming our conversations from superficial exchanges to profound connections.
Deep listening. That sounds like it could revolutionize relationships. What's next on the agenda?
Then we'll focus on a very important area, parenting with presence. We'll discuss how being fully present can bring calm to family life, fostering deeper connections with children and reducing stress for everyone involved. It's about connection over chaos.
That's a wonderful focus. It's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day demands and forget the importance of pure connection with our kids.
Absolutely. And where does presence lead us? It leads to achieving flow states. These are those magical moments of peak performance and joy where you're completely absorbed in an activity. We'll explore how presence unlocks that effortless engagement and productivity.
Flow states. That's something I think many of us aspire to. So, presence is a pathway to that?
It is. And as we build this foundation of presence, we can then turn our attention inward. We'll discuss releasing the past, learning how to let go of regret and resentment that keep us tethered to what was, rather than allowing us to live in what is.
Letting go is so important for moving forward.
It truly is. Similarly, we'll tackle banishing future worries. This involves cultivating peace and acceptance by learning to manage anxieties about what might happen, freeing up mental energy to focus on the now.
So, it's about finding peace in the present by untangling ourselves from both past hurts and future fears.
Exactly. With these internal shifts addressed, we'll then focus on making presence a sustainable part of your life. We'll explore finding your daily anchors. This means identifying and integrating simple, consistent practices that help you maintain your presence throughout the day, creating a robust routine.
So, we're moving from understanding the principles to building a sustainable practice. Almost there.
We are. In our penultimate episode, we'll explore the transformation of presence, looking at how this focus on being fully here leads to a holistic shift in your entire life, impacting your health, relationships, work, and overall well-being.
A holistic transformation. That's the ultimate goal, isn't it?
It is. And finally, in our last episode, we'll focus on living the presence principle. This isn't just about learning techniques, but about integrating them into the fabric of your life, so presence becomes your natural way of being. It's your ongoing journey.
This sounds like an incredibly comprehensive and transformative series. I'm already feeling more aware just from this introduction.
That's the power of starting to pay attention. Presence is a skill, and like any skill, it can be learned and strengthened with practice. We're here to guide you every step of the way.
I'm so ready.
Next episode, Understanding Distraction. Welcome back to the Presence Principle. Last time, we introduced the idea of being fully here. Now, let's tackle distraction.
Distraction feels like the default setting now. Our attention is pulled in a million directions. It's concerning to think how scattered it is.
Our modern world fuels this. Devices, notifications, ads, they're designed to grab our attention constantly. It's hard to focus on one thing.
It's like a digital overflow. Smartphones buzzing, endless social media, emails piling up. There's always something new demanding our attention.
This isn't just about willpower. Our brains seek novelty and reward. Digital platforms offer intermittent rewards, like likes and notifications, creating a habit loop. It's incredibly hard to disengage.
So, it taps into our brain chemistry, making distraction appealing. Tiny hits of dopamine train our brains to crave more.
And societal pressure adds to it. We're often expected to be constantly available, prioritizing responsiveness over deep, focused work.
If the culture expects us to be always on, distracted becomes the norm. It's not seen as a flaw, but as a necessity.
This constant distraction has tangible costs. In work, our productivity plummets. We make more mistakes, our decisions can be flawed, and tasks take longer.
Imagine building something intricate while constantly interrupted. Progress is slow, and the final product could be flawed. Shallow, scattered work leads to poor outcomes.
Beyond output, the quality of our thinking suffers. Deep, creative thought requires sustained attention. We don't allow our minds to make connections or innovate. We become reactive, not proactive.
So, it's not just about getting less done, but about the type of thinking we're capable of. And it's not just work, relationships suffer too.
A crucial area. Imagine a dinner where one person is scrolling their phone or eyes darting to notifications. It signals, you are not as important. This erodes trust and connection. We aren't truly present.
It's a silent barrier. Even in the same room, if attention is elsewhere, true connection doesn't happen. People feel unheard and invisible.
And this impacts parenting. Parents juggle work, chores, and childcare, bombarded by distractions. When a child shares something important, a distracted parent might miss a crucial moment. This disconnection affects a child's sense of security.
It's heartbreaking to think about those missed moments. A child's world is immediate, their need for attention profound. Meeting that with distractedness makes you reconsider device use.
Our physical and mental well-being are also deeply affected. Rushing meals without attention can lead to overeating. Distracted exercise or driving can be dangerous.
The driving one is terrifying. Even a second looking away feels like an eternity. It's a stark reminder of the physical dangers.
And mentally, constant stimulation and fractured attention can increase anxiety, stress, and burnout. Our minds never rest. Chronic overstimulation leaves us on edge, exhausted, and overwhelmed.
So, distraction is an epidemic affecting our work, relationships, parenting, and health. It reduces productivity, creates distance, causes missed moments, and impacts well-being.
A perfect summary. The cost is immense, subtly eroding our lives. But understanding it is the first step. In our next episode, we'll explore sensory anchors, simple ways to ground ourselves and combat this.
I'm looking forward to that. So, next time on the Presence Principle, we'll be exploring sensory anchors.
Welcome back. Last time we explored the insidious nature of distraction.
It was a real eye-opener, Alex. Understanding why we get distracted is the first step, but the big question we're left with is, how do we actually do something about it? How do we pull ourselves back from that mental scatteredness and actually be here?
That's exactly what we're diving into today, Lisa. And the key lies in something incredibly powerful, yet beautifully simple: sensory anchors.
Sensory anchors. What exactly are they, and how do they help us anchor ourselves when we feel like we're adrift?
Think of a ship at sea needing a strong anchor to hold it steady against the waves. Our minds are often like that ship, tossed about by waves of thoughts, worries, or to-do lists. Sensory anchors are like strong links and heavy chains, providing a tangible point of connection to the present moment. They're simply things we can perceive using our five senses: sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch.
So, by consciously engaging with what we can see, hear, smell, taste, or feel right now, we can interrupt that cycle of distraction.
Precisely. Our senses are always connected to the present. Your eyes are seeing what's in front of you now. Your ears are hearing what's happening now. When we deliberately shift our awareness to these sensations, we're grounding ourselves in the immediate reality rather than getting lost in the past or the future.
I can see how that would work. It's like redirecting your attention to something undeniable, Can you give us some examples? Let's start with sight.
Sure, take something simple you see every day. Maybe it's the texture of your desk, the way the light falls on a plant, or even the pattern on your shirt. Focus on it. Don't just glance, really look. Notice the colors, the shadows, the details. What's the shape? Is it smooth, rough, shiny? By consciously observing these visual details, you're giving your mind something concrete to latch onto.
So, instead of just seeing my coffee mug, I'd notice its precise shade of blue, the way the steam curls up from it, maybe a tiny chip on the rim. It's about active observation.
Exactly. And you can do this with anything. The bark of a tree, the lines on your hand, the clouds in the sky. The more you practice, the quicker you can shift your focus. Now let's move to sound.
Ah, sound.
In our busy lives, we often filter out a lot of what we hear, or we just hear it as background noise.
That's true. With sound, the practice is to intentionally listen. What sounds are around you right now? Maybe it's the hum of a computer, distant traffic, birds chirping, or even the sound of your own breathing. Try to identify distinct sounds. Can you hear layers of sound? Pick out one sound and just follow it for a few moments. Notice its quality. Is it soft, loud, high-pitched, low-pitched?
I can actually hear the gentle whirring of the air conditioner and the faint sound of cars outside, even though I wasn't paying attention to them before. It's like tuning into a radio station you didn't know was on.
That's a perfect analogy, Lisa. You're tuning into the present moment through sound. What about smell? This can be a powerful anchor because our sense of smell is so directly linked to memory and emotion, but it also pulls us into the immediate.
Smell.
Sometimes I only notice smells when they're really strong, like coffee brewing or rain on hot pavement.
And those are wonderful anchors. But even subtler smells can work. Take a gentle inhale. What do you notice? Perhaps it's the scent of your skin, your clothing, a book, or even just the air itself. If you're finding it hard, you could deliberately smell something, a cup of tea, a piece of fruit, or even just your hands. Notice the nuances. Is it sweet, earthy, fresh, subtle?
I'm noticing a faint scent of paper from my notebook. It's not overpowering, but it's definitely there. It makes me feel present, tangible.
That's the magic of it. It connects you to the physical world around you right now. Next, we have taste.
Taste is interesting. We usually associate it with eating, but is there a way to use it as an anchor beyond a meal?
Absolutely. The most common way is to simply pay attention when you eat or drink. Instead of mindlessly consuming, take a moment to savor. What is the texture? Is it smooth, crunchy, chewy? What are the flavors? Are they sweet, sour, bitter, salty, umami? Notice the temperature. Is it hot, warm, cool, cold? Even a sip of water can be an anchor. Feel the coolness, the wetness, the subtle taste.
So, if I'm drinking my morning tea, it's not just about getting the caffeine. It's about experiencing the warmth of the mug, the aroma, the taste, the actual sensation of swallowing.
Exactly. You're transforming a mundane act into a present moment experience. And finally, touch. This is often the most immediate and accessible anchor.
Touch feels very direct. What does this involve?
It's about noticing the physical sensations on your skin. Feel the clothes against your body. Are they soft, rough, tight, loose? Feel your feet on the floor. Notice the pressure, the temperature, the texture of your socks or shoes or the floor itself. Feel the chair supporting your body. What do you feel contact points? Notice the temperature of the air on your skin. Even the sensation of your finger touching a surface.
I'm feeling the fabric of my trousers against my legs and the slight pressure of my hands resting on my lap. It's like a gentle reminder that my body exists and is grounded right here.
That's a beautiful way to put it, Lisa. It is a gentle reminder. These sensory anchors, when practiced regularly, can become incredibly potent tools for managing distraction. When you feel your mind starting to wander, you can consciously choose an anchor. Okay, I'm going to focus on the sound of my own breath for a moment. Or I'm going to really look at the color of that wall.
It sounds so simple, but I can imagine the cumulative effect must be significant. It's not about eliminating thoughts, but about retraining our attention.
Precisely. It's not about stopping your thoughts. That's like trying to stop the tide. It's about giving your attention a place to rest, a place to be firm, so that when thoughts arise, they don't sweep you away. We're building resilience. We're building our capacity to be fully present, even when the world is clamoring for our attention.
So, to recap what we've covered today, we've learned about sensory anchors, which are things we perceive through our five senses: sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. These anchors provide tangible points of connection to the present moment, helping us to ground ourselves when we feel distracted. By consciously observing visual details, intentionally listening to sounds, noticing subtle smells, savoring tastes, and feeling physical sensations, we can gently pull our awareness back to what is happening right now.
Exactly, Lisa. These are practical, accessible tools that you can use anywhere, anytime. The real power comes from consistent practice, making these become second nature.
So, the takeaway for our listeners is to start experimenting. Pick one sense today and really focus on it for a minute or two. See what happens.
That's the spirit. Next episode, the power of breath, your ever-present anchor. Welcome back to the Presence Principle. Today, we're focusing on your ever-present anchor, your breath.
Our breath. It's so fundamental, Alex. We do it constantly without even thinking. But you're saying we can actually use it as a tool to bring ourselves fully into the now? That sounds revolutionary, yet also incredibly simple.
Exactly. Think about it. When you're stressed, what often happens to your breath?
It gets shallow and fast. Or I might even hold it. My chest feels tight.
Precisely. And when you're calm and relaxed, your breath tends to be deeper and slower. While we can't always control our external circumstances, we can often influence our internal state by consciously working with our breath. This is the idea behind using breath as an anchor. It's a constant physical sensation that's happening in every moment. By bringing our awareness to it, we immediately draw ourselves away from racing thoughts about the past or anxieties about the future.
So it's like a direct line to the present moment. We've talked about how distraction is the modern epidemic. Our minds are constantly pulled in a million directions. Focusing on the breath interrupts that cycle.
It does. And it's incredibly accessible. You don't need any special equipment, no specific location. You can practice this anywhere, anytime. Let's start with the most basic technique, mindful breathing. It's about simply noticing your breath without trying to change it. Just observe. Feel the air coming in through your nostrils, filling your lungs, and then leaving your body. Where do you feel it most strongly? Is it the rise and fall of your chest? Or perhaps your abdomen expanding and contracting?
For me, I feel it most in my chest. I just took a conscious breath, and I can feel the slight pressure as my lungs expand. And then as I exhale, that release. It's subtle, but definitely there.
That's wonderful. And the key is that even if your mind wanders, and that's what minds do, you simply notice it and then gently guide your attention back to the sensation of breathing. There's no judgment here. Every time you bring your awareness back to your breath, you're strengthening that presence muscle.
So it's not about achieving a perfectly blank mind, but about noticing when your mind has drifted and bringing it back. That's very reassuring. I think many people, myself included, feel like they're failing if their mind wanders.
That's a very common misconception, Lisa. The wandering is natural. The practice is in the return. Now, to deepen this connection, we can introduce slight adjustments to our breathing. One simple yet effective technique is called diaphragmatic breathing or belly breathing. This is that deeper, more relaxed breath we talked about. Imagine placing one hand on your chest and the other on your belly, just below your rib cage. As you inhale, try to feel your belly push outwards like a balloon inflating. Your chest hand should move very little. As you exhale, let your belly fall naturally.
Okay, I'm trying that now. Hand on my chest, hand on my belly. Inhaling. And yes, I feel my belly expand much more than my chest. It feels a less forced, more natural.
Exactly. This type of breathing activates the body's natural relaxation response. It signals to your brain that it's safe to relax, counteracting the stress response. This is incredibly valuable when you feel overwhelmed, anxious, or even just stressed. You can do this for just a few minutes, and you'll often notice a significant shift in your internal state.
So, if I'm in a tense meeting or stuck in traffic, I can discreetly take a few belly breaths and find a little pocket of calm. That's powerful.
Absolutely. And another technique that builds on this is called breath counting. This is a bit more focused. While doing your mindful breathing, you can gently count your exhales. Inhale 1, inhale 2. You continue this up to 10, and then you start again at 1. If you lose your count or your mind wanders off completely, that's okay. Just gently return to counting your exhales, starting from 1 again.
Breath counting. That adds an extra layer of focus. It gives the mind something concrete to do, rather than just letting it drift aimlessly.
Precisely. It's like a gentle anchor for your attention. The rhythm of counting can be very soothing. And this technique is particularly useful when you're trying to fall asleep or when you need to quiet a particularly busy mind. What if we experimented with a slightly different exhale? This is often called the 4-7-8 breathing technique. You inhale quietly through your nose for a count of 4. Then you hold your breath for a count of 7. And finally, you exhale completely through your mouth with a whooshing sound for a count of 8.
4, 7, 8. That sounds quite deliberate. Inhale for 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8.
It is. And the longer exhale is crucial. It's the slow exit of air that really signals relaxation to your body. This technique is often used to calm the nervous system quickly, to manage anxiety, or to help with sleep onset. The extended exhale is key. It's that longer release that brings a sense of peace.
So, let's recap the breathing techniques we've touched upon. We have basic mindful breathing, just observing the natural rhythm. Then there's diaphragmatic or belly breathing, focusing on expanding the belly with each inhale for a deeper relaxation response. Breath counting gives our minds a gentle focus by counting exhales. And the 4-7-8 technique uses specific counts for inhalation, breath retention, and a longer exhalation for deeper calm. That's a fantastic toolkit.
It really is. And remember, the goal isn't perfection. It's practice. These aren't rigid rules, but gentle invitations to connect with yourself. Your breath is your most reliable companion. It's always there, a constant reminder of the present moment. By learning to tune into it, we gain a powerful ability to navigate the chaos of modern life with more ease, focus, and peace. Think of it as a personal superpower that you can access anytime, anywhere.
It's amazing how something so simple can have such a profound impact. It ties back so well to our earlier discussions about sensory anchors. The breath is the ultimate sensory anchor because it's always with us. It's a physical anchor in an often unpredictable world.
Indeed. And as we continue through the presence principle, we'll see how mastering this intrinsic anchor opens the door to mastering other areas of our lives.
So, to summarize for our listeners, our breath is our constant, ever-present anchor. By becoming aware of it through mindful breathing, we can reduce stress and increase focus. Techniques like belly breathing, breath counting, and the 4-7-8 method offer specific ways to deepen this practice and cultivate calm. Just remember to be gentle with yourself and keep bringing your awareness back to that steady, rhythmic flow of air.
Next episode, we'll turn our attention outward and explore the art of deep listening. Welcome back. Last time, we explored the incredible power of our breath.
And what a potent tool it is, Alex. Our breath is always there, a reliable anchor. Today, we're tackling something that often pulls us away from that anchor: technology.
Ah, yes, the digital world. It's incredible, offering us connection and information at our fingertips, but it also presents a massive challenge to our presence. How do we use these powerful tools without letting them hijack our attention?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's so easy to get sucked into the endless scroll, the constant pings and notifications. Before we know it, we've lost minutes, even hours, that we could have spent truly engaged with our lives.
Exactly. Think about it. How many times have you picked up your phone for a quick check, only to resurface 20 minutes later, unsure of where that time went? That's the technology trap. It's designed to capture and hold our attention.
It really is. And it impacts everything. We might be physically present with loved ones, but mentally, we're off somewhere else, checking emails or scrolling through social media. That's not true connection.
Right? So, how do we regain control? The first step is awareness. We need to become conscious of how and why we're using our devices. It's not about abandoning technology, but about using it intentionally.
Intentionality. I like that. What does that look like in practice?
It starts with small, deliberate choices. For instance, setting specific times for checking emails or social media, rather than reacting to every notification. Imagine scheduling tech breaks, just as you would schedule a meeting.
So, treat our digital engagement like any other important task, with defined boundaries. That makes sense. It's like saying, okay, I'll dedicate 10 minutes to this, and then I'll put the phone down.
Precisely. And also, curating our digital environment. We can turn off non-essential notifications. Those little red badges and buzzing sounds are designed to pull us in, to create a sense of urgency that often isn't real.
Oh, those notification badges. They feel like tiny alarms going off all the time, demanding our attention. Turning them off feels like a huge act of self-preservation.
It's like decluttering your physical space, but for your digital life. Another powerful technique is to designate tech-free zones or times.
Like no phones at the dinner table? That's a popular one.
Exactly. Or no phones in the bedroom at night. This allows for deeper connection with family and also promotes better sleep, as the blue light from screens can interfere with our natural sleep cycles. We're reclaiming those moments for rest and genuine interaction.
So, it's about creating intentional pockets of disconnection from our devices so we can be more connected to the people and experiences right in front of us.
Yes, and when you do use your technology, try to be mindful of your purpose. Are you using it to learn, to connect with a specific person, or are you just scrolling aimlessly to fill a void? Having a reason behind your usage can help you stay on track.
That's a great point. Often, I find myself picking up my phone out of habit, not because I actually need to do anything. Recognizing that habit is the first step in breaking it.
And we can also use technology to support our presence rather than hinder it. For example, using mindfulness apps during specific times or setting reminders to take a deep breath.
That's a fantastic reversal. Using the tool against itself in a good way. So, to recap for our listeners, mastering our technology for presence involves becoming aware of our habits, setting intentional usage times, minimizing distracting notifications, creating tech-free zones or times, and being clear about our purpose when we do engage with our devices.
That's a perfect summary, Lisa. It's about developing a conscious relationship with the technology that permeates our lives. We're the masters, not the other way around.
And this isn't about feeling guilty for using our phones. It's about empowering ourselves to use them in ways that serve us, rather than drain us.
Absolutely. It's a continuous practice, like any aspect of presence. Some days will be easier than others. The key is to keep noticing and gently guiding ourselves back to intentionality.
So next time we feel ourselves getting lost in the digital ether, we can remember to pause, take a breath, and ask ourselves, what is my intention here?
Exactly. And that brings us to the end of this episode. Next episode, we'll explore the profound impact of deep listening. Thanks for listening. Welcome back. Last time we covered mastering technology. Now let's tackle deep listening.
That's right, Alex. We've spent time on being present with ourselves. But what happens when we bring that same focused attention to interacting with others? It's like a whole new dimension opens up.
Absolutely, Lisa. This is the art of deep listening. It's more than just hearing words. It's about truly understanding their message, their feelings, and their perspective. The foundation is, you guessed it, being fully present.
So, when we're talking about deep listening, what does that really mean? Because I think a lot of us might think we're good listeners if we don't interrupt.
That's a common misconception. Not interrupting is a good start, but deep listening goes much further. It's about offering your undivided attention. Imagine a conversation as a shared space. When you're truly listening, you're not just occupying your side. You're actively engaging with the energy and information the other person is bringing into it. It means setting aside your own agenda, your own thoughts, and your own urge to formulate a response while the other person is still speaking.
That's a powerful distinction. I often catch myself mentally rehearsing what I'll say next, or even getting distracted by my own internal commentary. It sounds like deep listening means quieting that internal chatter.
Exactly. Think of it like this. Our minds are often like busy train stations, with thoughts arriving and departing all the time. In a regular conversation, we might be trying to manage all those trains while someone is speaking to us. Deep listening is like clearing the station for a moment, giving all your focus to the one person who's delivering their message. This means no checking your phone, no glancing around the room, and consciously noticing when your mind wanders and gently bringing it back to the speaker.
And how does that focused attention translate into understanding? Because sometimes, even if I'm trying to listen, I still miss nuances.
When you're truly present, you're not just processing words. You're picking up on nonverbal cues. You're noticing their tone of voice, their facial expressions, their body language. These elements often convey more meaning than the words themselves. Are they hesitant, enthusiastic, sad? When you're distracted, you miss these critical pieces of the puzzle. Deep listening allows you to see the whole picture the other person is painting.
So, it's about creating a space for genuine connection. When someone feels truly heard, what's the impact on the relationship?
The impact is profound. Firstly, it fosters trust and safety. When you're listened to deeply, you feel valued and respected. This encourages you to be more open and authentic. Secondly, it dramatically reduces misunderstandings. Many conflicts arise from misinterpretations, from not fully grasping the other person's point of view. Deep listening acts as a powerful filter, clarifying messages and preventing those miscommunications before they even start.
I can see that. It's like if you're trying to build something and you're not paying attention to the blueprints, you're bound to make mistakes. Deep listening is like meticulously following the blueprint of someone's thoughts and feelings.
That's a great analogy. And remember how we talked about anchors in previous episodes? Our breath is our primary anchor for internal presence. In deep listening, the speaker becomes your temporary anchor. Your attention is directed towards them. When your mind drifts, your breath can be a quick reset. Take a quiet inhale, exhale, and then bring your focus back to the person speaking.
That's a helpful reminder, Alex. So, bringing our breath into the conversation provides a way to stay grounded even when our minds want to wander. What about the other side of the conversation? How do we encourage deep listening in return?
That often starts with modeling the behavior. When you listen deeply to someone, you're showing them what it feels like, and they're more likely to reciprocate. You can also use active listening techniques, which are essentially outward expressions of your internal presence. For example, nodding your head, making eye contact, and offering verbal affirmations like uh-huh or I see.
Those small signals make a big difference, don't they? They let the speaker know, yes, I'm still here with you.
They absolutely do. Another powerful technique is paraphrasing and summarizing. This is where you check your understanding. You might say something like, so if I'm understanding correctly, you're feeling X because of Y. Is that right? This isn't about interrupting to correct them. It's about ensuring you've accurately received their message. It shows you've been processing what they've said and are committed to understanding.
That's a fantastic tool, especially for complex conversations or when emotions are running high. It's a way to confirm you're on the same page.
Indeed. And it's also crucial to listen without judgment. Often, we filter what we hear through our own beliefs and biases. Deep listening requires us to suspend that judgment, at least temporarily, and enter the speaker's world. This doesn't mean you have to agree with them, but it means you're committed to understanding their perspective before forming your own opinion. This creates an environment where vulnerability can flourish.
That's a challenging one. It's so easy to jump to conclusions or to immediately evaluate what someone is saying based on our own experiences.
It is, and it takes conscious practice. Think of it like learning a new skill. When you first try to deep listen, you might find yourself struggling. Your mind will wander. You might catch yourself judging. The key is to notice these moments without self-criticism and gently redirect your attention. Every time you bring your focus back, you're strengthening that listening muscle.
So, to recap for our listeners, deep listening is about offering your full, undivided attention to the speaker. It involves quieting your internal chatter, noticing nonverbal cues, listening without judgment, and using techniques like paraphrasing to ensure understanding. It models good behavior and fosters trust, leading to stronger, more authentic relationships.
You've nailed it, Lisa. It's about creating a space where people feel truly seen and heard. And by practicing deep listening, we not only enrich our own lives and relationships, but we also contribute to a more understanding and connected world, one conversation at a time. This is such a fundamental aspect of living with presence, extending it beyond ourselves and into our interactions.
It really is. It's about making the people we speak with feel like they're the most important thing in the world for that moment. A powerful shift from the constant multitasking and distraction we often experience.
Absolutely. And as we move towards the latter half of our series, this skill of deep listening becomes a cornerstone for so many other aspects we'll be exploring, from parenting to achieving flow states. It's the bridge between our inner awareness and our outward connection.
It makes so much sense. It's not just about being present, it's about sharing that presence in a way that truly matters to others.
Precisely. So, I encourage everyone to pick one conversation this week and really practice deep listening. Notice the difference it makes, both for you and for the person you're speaking with.
Next episode, we'll be exploring how to bring this principle of presence into our parenting, transforming chaos into connection.
Welcome back to the Presence Principle. Now, let's tackle parenting with presence.
Absolutely, Alex. Many parents listening are nodding along. We want to be present for our children, but it's a constant juggling act.
Presence in parenting isn't about being available 24/7 without stress. It's about recognizing the moments that matter and optimizing them.
So, where do we begin? What's the first step?
The first step is recognizing that our presence with our children is intertwined with our own. If we're frazzled, that's what we project. Foundation is self-awareness.
It's like trying to pour from an empty cup.
Exactly. And this doesn't require hours of meditation. It can be as simple as taking 3 deep breaths before entering a chaotic room. These anchors ground us.
So, self-regulation first. Once we have that internal calm, How do we translate it into meaningful interactions?
One of the most powerful tools is giving our children our undivided attention, even for short bursts. We live in a world filled with distractions.
Technology, for instance.
Our phones are constantly buzzing, pulling us away from the here and now.
Precisely. When you're talking with your child, put the phone away. Make eye contact. Really listen to what they're saying, not just the words, but the emotions behind them. This is where deep listening we discussed previously comes into play.
Oh, that's a great connection back. So, deep listening skills are crucial for present parenting too. It's about acknowledging their feelings and validating their experiences.
Absolutely. Even if their concern seems trivial to us, it's significant to them. Phrases like, I hear you, or that sounds really tough, can make a world of difference. It shows them they are seen and understood.
And I imagine that builds trust and strengthens that connection. What about when things get hectic, when the chaos you mentioned takes over?
When chaos erupts, the goal isn't to eliminate it entirely, but to navigate it with presence. This means staying calm yourself, even when your child is upset. Instead of reacting with frustration, try to respond with empathy. Count to 10, take those deep breaths, and then approach the situation.
So, it's about modeling emotional regulation for them. They learn how to handle difficult situations by watching us.
Exactly. Another key aspect is incorporating presence into everyday routines. Simple things like eating meals together without screens or reading a bedtime story with full focus create pockets of connection. These aren't special occasions. They're the fabric of family life.
I love that, turning ordinary moments into opportunities for presence. It makes it feel more achievable, less like another task on the to-do list. What about play? How does presence factor into playtime?
Play is where children communicate their world. When you join them in play with your full attention, you gain incredible insights into their thoughts, feelings, and interests. It doesn't mean you have to be the most energetic or creative participant. Just being there, engaged, and responsive is powerful. Follow their lead.
Following their lead, that's important. Trying to direct the play can take away from that genuine connection.
Indeed. And remember, presence isn't about perfection. There will be days when you're exhausted, overwhelmed, or simply not at your best. That's okay. The intention to be present and the effort to return to it are what truly matter. Our children are remarkably resilient and forgiving.
That's a comforting thought. So, to recap, we're focusing on our own presence, using self-regulation techniques like deep breaths as anchors, giving our children our undivided attention, practicing deep listening, modeling emotional regulation during chaos, and turning everyday routines and play into opportunities for connection.
That's a fantastic summary, Lisa. It all boils down to intentionality. By consciously choosing to be present, we create a more connected, loving, and supportive environment for our children and for ourselves. This shift transforms family life from chaotic to harmonious.
It's a journey, for sure, but one with immense rewards. It's about building a stronger foundation for our families, one present moment at a time.
Next episode, we'll explore how to cultivate flow states, unlocking peak performance and joy in our lives. Welcome back. Last time we explored deep listening, truly hearing others.
And that leads perfectly into today's topic, flow states. Those moments where you're so absorbed, time melts away, and you perform at your peak.
Exactly. Psychologist Mihai Csikszentmihalyi called this flow, a state of energized focus, full involvement, and enjoyment. And the key? Presence.
So, flow states are about being fully present. What are the ingredients that lead to this flow? It feels magical, but there must be predictable elements.
There are. Csikszentmihalyi identified key components. First, clear goals. You need to know what you're trying to achieve specifically.
So if I'm painting, my goal isn't just to paint, but to capture a specific shade of blue or the light on a petal. A clear objective.
Precisely. And second, immediate feedback. You need to know how you're doing as you go. For the painter, that's seeing the brush stroke achieve the effect, or noticing colors blend.
It's a constant feedback loop.
I do something, see the result, and adjust. This requires focus. How does presence help with goals and feedback?
Presence means your attention is fully on the task. No buzzing phones, no worries about tomorrow. This undivided attention lets you see the goal and receive feedback without distraction. You're truly in the activity.
That's a great point. I often try to multitask, which is the opposite of presence and flow. So, clear goals and immediate feedback. What else contributes?
The third component, a balance between the challenge of the task and your skills. If a task is too easy, you get bored. Too difficult, you feel anxious. Flow happens in that sweet spot, where the challenge stretches your abilities.
I see. A beginner knitter trying a complex sweater would get frustrated. Just practicing casting on might be dull. The perfect project is challenging but achievable.
Exactly. And presence helps us recognize our skill level and assess the task challenge. We can choose activities that fall into that optimal zone.
For those in demanding professions, finding that balance may need conscious effort. It's easy to feel overwhelmed or apathetic.
Absolutely. Cultivating presence helps us recognize when we're bored or anxious and make adjustments. This leads to the fourth element, a sense of control. In flow, you feel capable, not overwhelmed.
A sense of control, that's powerful. Not micromanaging, but feeling competent within the activity.
Yes, an intrinsic feeling of competence. This leads to two more aspects, loss of self-consciousness and transformation of time. In flow, you're not worried about judgment or even thinking much about yourself. Your ego quiets.
That sounds amazing. Our self-doubt and overthinking often hinder performance. To be free from that internal critic while engaged, that's the dream.
It truly is. And the transformation of time is characteristic of flow. Hours can feel like minutes, or minutes can feel incredibly rich. You lose normal perception of time because attention is focused on the present.
So, to recap flow ingredients, clear goals, immediate feedback, challenge skill balance, and sense of control. In flow, you also experience loss of self-consciousness and transform time. That paints a clear picture.
It does. And what's fascinating is how these elements tie back to presence. When we're present, we're able to set clearer goals, notice feedback instantly, and accurately gauge the challenge.
It creates a feedback loop where presence enables flow, and flow reinforces our sense of being fully engaged and capable. It's like the ultimate positive cycle.
Indeed. And think about the impact on performance. When you are in flow, your focus is unparalleled. Problem solving becomes more intuitive, creativity flourishes, and you simply get more done and better.
So, it's not just about feeling good, it's about enhancing our abilities and output significantly. This is why athletes talk about being in zone and musicians describe losing themselves in their music.
Precisely. And the beauty is, flow states aren't exclusive to elite performers. They can be cultivated in everyday activities. Whether you're coding, cooking, gardening, or even organizing your finances, you can create the conditions for flow.
That's so encouraging to hear, Alex. It means these powerful experiences aren't just for the lucky few, but accessible to all of us by consciously applying these principles.
Absolutely. So, how do we intentionally cultivate these conditions? We've touched upon presence and setting clear goals. Another crucial step is managing distractions. Remember our episode on technology?
Yes, keeping our devices out of sight, turning off notifications, and creating dedicated work or activity periods. This directly supports getting into that focused state where flow can emerge.
Exactly. And actively seeking out tasks that fall within that sweet spot between challenge and skill is key. This might mean breaking down a large project into smaller, manageable steps, or seeking out courses or resources to improve your skills if a task feels too daunting.
So, it's about being proactive and setting ourselves up for success. Not waiting for flow to happen, but actively building the runway for it.
And don't forget the importance of a supportive environment. Minimizing external interruptions and even having a designated space for certain activities can significantly boost your ability to enter flow.
This is why a dedicated office or a quiet corner for reading can be so effective. It signals to our brain that it's time to focus.
Right. And the more we practice being present, the better we become at recognizing those internal cues that signal we're drifting away from flow, that feeling of restlessness or the urge to check our phone.
So, the practice of presence, which we've been building throughout the series, is the foundational skill that underpins our ability to achieve flow states.
You've hit the nail on the head, Lisa. Flow states are not a mystical occurrence. They're the natural result of focused attention, clear intention, and a balanced engagement with our activities. They're a peak expression of being fully present.
So, by consciously setting clear goals, seeking immediate feedback, balancing challenges with our skills, managing distractions, and most importantly, cultivating our presence, we can unlock these transformative experiences.
It truly offers a pathway to not only peak performance, but also profound joy and a deep sense of fulfillment in our daily lives. It's about making our experiences richer and more meaningful.
This has been incredibly insightful, Alex. It makes perfect sense that moments of deep engagement and peak performance are directly linked to our ability to be fully here in the moment.
And that brings us to the end of this episode. Thanks for listening. Welcome back to the Presence Principle. Last time, we explored the incredible power of flow states. Today, we're turning our focus inward to the past.
Ah, the past.
It's a tricky thing, isn't it, Alex? We can get stuck replaying old mistakes, feeling guilt over things we can't change, or holding on to grudges that just fester. It's like carrying around a heavy backpack of memories.
That's a fantastic analogy, Lisa. And that's exactly what we'll be discussing today. Releasing the past, letting go of regret and resentment. We'll explore how these anchors to yesterday can prevent us from fully experiencing today, and we'll discuss practical techniques to finally set them free. Ready to unpack that backpack?
Absolutely. So, Alex, how does carrying all this emotional baggage from the past actually affect our presence in the here and now?
Think about it. When your mind is constantly revisiting a past mistake or replaying an argument, where's your attention? It's definitely not on the conversation you're having right now or the beautiful sunset you might be witnessing. Your energy is depleted and your focus is fractured. This prevents you from engaging fully with your current reality.
So, it's like trying to walk forward while staring backward. You're bound to stumble.
Precisely. And it's not just about missing out on the present moment. Regret and resentment can also create a filter through which we view the world. If you're harboring resentment towards someone, you might find yourself interpreting their current actions through that negative lens, even if their actions are neutral or positive. It's exhausting and self-defeating.
I can see that. It's a form of emotional energy expenditure that just doesn't serve us. So, what are some of the most common forms of this past baggage people carry?
The two big ones, as our topic suggests, are regret and resentment. Regret is that feeling of wishing you had done something differently. I wish I hadn't said that, or I wish I had taken that opportunity. It often comes with a sense of guilt or self-blame.
And then resentment is, well, it's that lingering anger or bitterness towards someone else for something they did, or something you feel they did to you.
Exactly. And the insidious part is that while regret is often directed inward, resentment is directed outward. But ultimately, both keep you tethered to a past event. The person who caused you harm might have moved on entirely, but you're still emotionally engaged with that moment.
It's like giving them power over your present happiness.
That's a critical insight, Lisa. When we hold on to these feelings, we're essentially allowing past events and other people's actions to dictate our current emotional state. It disempowers us. So, how do we begin to address this? Well, the first step, much like with developing presence, is awareness. We need to recognize when we're caught in these loops.
How can we do that?
What are the signs?
You might notice yourself replaying conversations in your head, feeling a pang of guilt or anger repeatedly. You might find yourself telling the same negative stories about your past. Or perhaps you notice a defensive or bitter tone creeping into your thoughts or conversations, especially when a particular person or situation is mentioned.
Okay, so once we have that awareness, what's the next step? We can't just will the feelings away.
You're right, we can't. Willing them away often makes them stronger. The next step involves a process of acknowledgement and emotional processing. For regret, it often starts with a sincere self-compassion. We acknowledge that we made a decision based on the information and emotional state we had at that time. We were doing the best we could, even if it wasn't perfect.
That sounds difficult, especially if the regret is deep and painful.
It can be, but framing it as a learning experience rather than a personal failing is key. We can ask ourselves, what did I learn from that experience? And then deliberately apply that learning to the present, rather than endlessly punishing ourselves for the past. Think of it like a difficult lesson in school. You wouldn't keep failing the same test forever, would you? You'd learn from it and move on.
That's a helpful perspective. It reframes past mistakes as future wisdom. What about resentment, though? That feels like it involves another person's actions.
Resentment requires a slightly different approach, but the goal is the same, to free ourselves. A powerful technique here is called emotional release, and it often involves writing. You might write a letter to the person who caused you pain, not to send it, but to express everything you're feeling, the anger, the hurt, the disappointment. Get it all out on paper.
So, it's like a cathartic outpouring?
Exactly. And after you fully express your feelings, you can then move to a stage of acceptance. This doesn't mean condoning the behavior or forgetting what happened. It means accepting that it happened and that you cannot change it. You're choosing to release the emotional hold it has on you.
Acceptance feels like a surrender, but a positive one.
It is. It's surrendering the fight against reality. And then a crucial step is forgiveness. And this is often the hardest part. Forgiveness isn't for the other person, it's for you. It's releasing them from your emotional debt. It's saying, I forgive you, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace.
It's for our own liberation. That makes so much sense. It's not about excusing their actions, but about disentangling ourselves from the suffering they caused.
Precisely. And for those who find even that difficult, a helpful framing is to consider it as an observation. You observe the pain, you acknowledge it, and then you let it pass through you. You don't hold on to it. It's like watching clouds drift across the sky. They appear, they're what they are, and then they move on.
The key takeaway seems to be that the past is a place we can visit in memory for lessons, but it's not a place to live.
Absolutely. Living in the past, whether through regret or resentment, robs us of our present and future. It's like constantly looking in the rearview mirror while driving. You're bound to crash. We've talked about awareness, acknowledgement, and the power of self-compassion for regret. And for resentment, we've discussed emotional release, acceptance, and forgiveness as a gift to ourselves. These are powerful tools to help us unburden ourselves.
So, to recap, we first need to become aware of when we're dwelling on past regrets or resentments. Then, for regret, we practice self-compassion and reframe it as a learning experience. For resentment, we engage in emotional release through writing, accept what happened, and then practice forgiveness as a way to free ourselves.
That's a perfect summary, Lisa. All these practices help us to shed that heavy backpack and walk lighter, more fully present in our lives. It requires practice, but the freedom it offers is immense.
It truly is. Releasing the past allows us to be more fully here.
Next episode, Banishing Future Worries, Cultivating Peace and Acceptance. Welcome back to the Presence Principle. Last time, we talked about letting go of the past. Now, we're turning our attention to a different source of internal noise, the future.
That's right, Alex. So many of us spend time worrying about what might happen. It's like we're living in a future that hasn't arrived yet and experiencing all the anxieties that come with it.
Exactly. And it's a huge drain on our energy and our ability to be present. Our minds are brilliant tools for planning, but when they get stuck in loops of what ifs and worst case scenarios, they become powerful engines of anxiety.
It makes perfect sense. If your mind is constantly in the future, worrying about potential problems, you can't possibly be fully engaged with what's happening right now. You're checking out of your life.
Absolutely. So, today we're going to explore how to banish those future worries and start cultivating a sense of peace and acceptance. We'll look at practical ways to manage anxieties about what's to come and to anchor ourselves firmly in the present moment, where life is actually lived.
I love that. It's about finding peace, not by predicting and controlling the future perfectly, which is impossible, but by building resilience and acceptance in the here and now.
Precisely. So let's dive in. The first step in banishing future worries is to recognize them for what they are: thoughts. They are not necessarily reality. Often, our anxieties about the future are what we call catastrophizing, imagining the absolute worst case scenario.
And then we start to believe those imagined scenarios are inevitable. It's a powerful mental habit to break.
It is. So, a key technique is to simply notice when your mind has drifted into future worry. You can ask yourself, what am I thinking about right now? If the answer is something that hasn't happened, something that might happen, or something you're dreading from the future, acknowledge that thought.
So, instead of getting swept away by the worry, you pause and say, oh, there's that what if thought again.
Exactly. And then, gently, bring your attention back to the present. What are you doing right now? What do you see, hear, smell, taste, or feel in this very moment? Use your senses. This is like a mental anchor, pulling you out of the hypothetical future and back into the tangible present.
That's a great anchor. It's so concrete. If I'm worried about a presentation next week, I can stop, notice the worry, and then focus on the feeling of my feet on the floor or the taste of my coffee.
Yes, and this isn't about ignoring potential problems or not planning. It's about shifting from unproductive worry to constructive action. Once you've acknowledged your future-oriented thought, you can ask yourself, is there anything I can do about this right now?
That's a crucial distinction. Worrying often feels like doing something, but it's really just churning thoughts. Taking action, even a small step, is different.
It is. So, if you're worried about a presentation, instead of replaying imagined mistakes in your head, you might decide to spend 15 minutes outlining key points or practicing your opening statement. You're taking a tangible step to address the future, but you're doing it from a place of presence, not panic. This is about focusing on what you can control.
Right, because so much of future worry is about things we can't control. The economy, other people's reactions, unexpected events. It's overwhelming if we try to micromanage it all in our heads.
And that leads us to acceptance. Acceptance in this context doesn't mean passive resignation. It means acknowledging that some things are outside our control, and that's okay. It means recognizing that the future is inherently uncertain, and that uncertainty is a natural part of life.
That's a tough one for many of us. We like certainty, don't we? We crave it.
We do. But clinging to the illusion of control over the future only breeds more anxiety. Cultivating acceptance means saying, I can prepare, I can plan, but ultimately I will have to deal with whatever the future brings in the present moment when it arrives.
This sounds similar to how we talked about letting go of the past. It's about acknowledging reality and not fighting against what is.
It's a very strong connection, Lisa. Both the past and the future can be sources of significant distress if we allow our minds to get lost in them. Both require us to practice presence, to choose where our attention goes. So, how do we actively cultivate this peace and acceptance?
I imagine mindfulness practices come into play here, much like they did when we discussed the past.
Absolutely. Regular mindfulness, like meditation, helps train our minds to notice thoughts without judgment and to return to the present moment. It builds our capacity to observe our worries about the future rather than being consumed by them. Think of it like building a muscle for focus. The more you practice, the stronger it gets.
And when we talk about future worries, what kinds of things are we really talking about? It can be anything from work deadlines to health concerns, relationship issues.
All of it. It can be financial worries, the state of the world, family health, or even just a nagging feeling that something is off and you can't quite put your finger on it. The specific content of the worry isn't as important as the habit of worrying itself. The technique for managing it remains the same. Acknowledge the thought, assess if action is possible and constructive, and then anchor yourself in the present.
So, to recap, when future worries arise, we first notice the thought without getting caught up in it. Then, we ask if there's anything actionable we can do in the present to address the situation. And if not, or after taking action, we practice acceptance of the uncertainty and gently guide our attention back to our senses and our immediate experience.
That's a fantastic summary, Lisa. It's about shifting from a reactive, anxious state to a more proactive, peaceful, and accepting one. And remember, this is a practice. Some days will be easier than others. The key is consistent effort and self-compassion.
It's not about never worrying again, but about not letting worry dictate our lives. It's about having peace despite the uncertainties.
Precisely. By banishing future worries and cultivating peace and acceptance, we're not just reducing anxiety, we're actually freeing ourselves up to live more fully in the present. We're creating space for joy, for connection, and for life.
Next episode, we'll explore finding your daily anchors to help sustain this sense of presence.
Thanks for listening. Welcome back. Last time we covered banishing future worries. Now let's tackle daily anchors.
That's right, Alex. We've learned so much about what presence is and why it's important. But the big question for many listeners, myself included, is how do we actually make it a consistent everyday thing? How do we weave it into the fabric of our lives so it's not just something we think about, but something we do?
Exactly, Lisa. And that's where daily anchors come in. Think of them as regular touch points throughout your day that gently bring you back to the present moment. They're like little signposts that say, hey, remember to be here now. These aren't grand gestures, but small, deliberate practices that, over time, build a powerful habit of presence.
So it's about creating a rhythm for presence? It's not a one and done thing, but a continuous practice.
Precisely. And the beauty of daily anchors is that they're deeply personal. What works for one person might not resonate with another. The goal is to discover what intrinsically pulls you back to the here and now. We've discussed several techniques across this series. Things like focusing on your breath, engaging your senses, or practicing deep listening. These can all become your anchors.
Let's break that down a bit. For instance, we talked about the power of breath in episode 4. You mentioned it's your ever-present anchor. How can someone practically use their breath as a daily anchor?
Great question. Imagine you're about to start your workday. Instead of just jumping into emails, you take 3 conscious breaths. Feel the air entering your nostrils, filling your lungs, and then exhaling. That's a breath anchor right there. Or when you're waiting for a kettle to boil or for a web page to load. These are perfect moments for a few mindful breaths. It's about noticing the physical sensation of breathing, grounding you in that immediate experience.
I like that. It's so simple yet so effective. So, the breath is one anchor. What about sensory anchors, which we explored in episode 3? How can we turn those into daily touch points?
Sensory anchors are fantastic because our senses are always with us. Think about mundane activities, washing your hands. Instead of just rushing through it, you tune into the sensation of the water temperature, the feel of the soap, the smell. That's a micro moment of presence. Or when you're drinking your morning coffee or tea, really taste it, feel the warmth of the mug. These small sensory engagements act as anchors, pulling your awareness out of your busy mind and into the physical reality of the moment.
So, it's about finding opportunities within existing routines to add a layer of mindful awareness. It's not about adding more to our already packed schedules, but about changing how we approach what we're already doing.
Exactly. You're transforming the ordinary into an opportunity for presence. Another powerful anchor can be linked to our technology, which we tackled in episode 5. While technology can be a huge source of distraction, we can also use it to support our practice of presence.
How so? It feels counterintuitive to use the very thing that often pulls us away.
We can set intentional reminders. For example, using your phone to set a discrete chime every hour or every few hours. When that chime rings, it's your cue for a brief presence check-in. What are you doing right now? What are you feeling? What do you see and hear? It's a gentle nudge, not an interruption. You can also use apps designed for mindfulness, but even just a simple recurring alarm can serve as a powerful daily anchor.
That's a very practical approach. So we have breath anchors, sensory anchors, and even technology-assisted anchors. What else can act as a daily anchor?
Transitions are incredibly potent anchors. Think about the moments between activities. For instance, when you finish a meeting and are about to start another task, or when you arrive home from work. Instead of immediately switching gears, pause. Take a breath. Acknowledge the transition. This pause breaks the momentum of distraction and allows you to consciously decide how you want to engage with the next activity, bringing presence with you.
That makes so much sense. It's like creating a little buffer zone where you can reset. I often find myself rushing from one thing to the next, and that transition pause would be a perfect anchor.
And here's where we can connect back to previous episodes. Remember when we discussed deep listening in episode 6? A simple anchor can be to consciously choose to be fully present for your next conversation, whether it's with a colleague, a family member, or even a stranger. Before you speak, take a breath and set the intention to truly hear what the other person is saying without formulating your response.
That's a beautiful anchor, Alex. It directly impacts our relationships and transforms our interactions. It's about shifting the focus from my internal monologue to your external experience.
Precisely. And for those who are parents, we talked about parenting with presence in episode 7. A daily anchor for parents could be setting aside even just 5 minutes of undistracted playtime with their child. During that time, you're not thinking about emails, chores, or tomorrow's to-do list. You are fully engaged with your child, present in that shared moment.
That's such a valuable anchor. Those moments of undivided attention can be so powerful for both parent and child. So, to recap what we've discussed for creating sustainable presence through daily anchors, we can use our breath, tuning into its physical sensations. We can engage our senses in everyday activities like drinking or washing our hands. We can set technology reminders to prompt us for presence checks. We can intentionally pause during transitions between tasks. We can commit to deep listening in our conversations, and for parents, dedicate short pockets of undistracted time with children.
That's a great summary, Lisa. You've hit on the key themes. The most important takeaway is to experiment. What resonates with you? What feels natural? What can you realistically integrate into your day without feeling overwhelmed? It's not about doing all of these. It's about finding your personal set of anchors that work for you.
And the more you practice these anchors, the more they become automatic. They start to feel less like chores and more like natural rhythms of your day. It's like building a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it gets.
Exactly. And as these anchors become more ingrained, you'll find that your baseline level of presence increases. You'll naturally be more aware, more engaged, and more grounded in your daily life. This isn't about perfection. It's about consistent, conscious effort. Creating these daily anchors is a fundamental step in living the presence principle fully. Remember, the goal is to weave presence into the tapestry of your life.
It's truly about transforming our everyday experiences into opportunities for deeper connection with ourselves and the world around us.
Indeed. Next time, we'll look at the holistic shift that can occur when presence becomes a way of life.
Next episode, the transformation of presence, a holistic life shift.
Welcome back. Today we delve into the profound, holistic transformation that cultivating presence brings.
It's incredible to think about, Alex. We've spent so many episodes breaking down these individual practices, and now we're focusing on the overall mosaic. How does being fully here actually change our lives in a fundamental, lasting way?
That's exactly the question. It's not just about a fleeting feeling of calm. Deep presence is a catalyst for genuine, holistic change. Think about it. When you're truly present, your perception shifts. You're not constantly replaying the past or anticipating the future. You're engaging with what's happening right now.
And that engagement, I imagine, makes everything richer. Our last episode, we talked about finding our daily anchors. If we consistently use those anchors, whether it's our breath, a specific sensory experience, or a moment of mindful observation, we're building a foundation for this deeper transformation.
Precisely. Let's start with our work and performance. Remember when we discussed achieving flow states, that state of complete immersion and enjoyment in an activity, back in episode 8? That's a direct outcome of sustained presence. When you're fully immersed in a task, free from distractions, your efficiency and creativity soar. You're not just doing the work, you're experiencing it.
So, presence isn't just a nice to have, it actually enhances our productivity and makes our work more enjoyable. I can relate to that. When I'm truly focused on a project, the hours just melt away, and I feel a sense of accomplishment that's hard to replicate when my mind is elsewhere.
Absolutely. And this spills over into our relationships. In episode 6, we explored deep listening, giving your full attention to understand. When you're truly present with another person, you're not just hearing their words, you're sensing their tone, their body language, their unspoken emotions. This allows for a level of connection that superficial interactions simply can't achieve.
That's so important, Alex. It transforms conversations from exchanges of information into genuine moments of understanding and empathy. It's like moving from black and white to full color in how we connect with others. And for parents, as we discussed in episode 7, this level of presence is a gift. Being fully with our children, even for short periods, builds trust and security in ways that are immeasurable.
It truly is a foundational element for healthy relationships. But the transformation goes even deeper into our own sense of self. When we're not constantly lost in thought, we become more aware of our internal landscape. Remember episodes 9 and 10, where we talked about releasing the past and banishing future worries.
Yes, dealing with regret and resentment, and learning to accept what is, rather than fearing what might be. Those were powerful shifts.
They were. And sustained presence is the key to making those shifts stick. When you're present, you can more easily observe your thoughts and feelings without being swept away by them. You can see a worried thought arise, acknowledge it, and then gently guide your attention back to the present moment, rather than getting caught in a spiral of anxiety.
So it's about developing a kind of inner resilience, isn't it? By practicing presence, we build the capacity to navigate our internal world with more grace and less reactivity. We become less a victim of our own thoughts and more an observer.
That's a perfect way to put it, Lisa. It's about cultivating self-awareness. You start to notice your patterns, your triggers, your habitual reactions. This self-knowledge is incredibly empowering. It allows you to make conscious choices about how you want to respond to situations, rather than just automatically acting out of ingrained habits.
And this leads to a profound sense of well-being. When we're not weighed down by past regrets or future anxieties, and when our relationships are more connected and our work is more engaging, our overall sense of life satisfaction can't help but increase.
Exactly. It's a holistic shift because presence touches every facet of our experience. It impacts our physical health, too. Think about the stress reduction that comes from being less anxious about the future and less burdened by the past. It can positively affect our body stress response, improve sleep, and support our overall health.
It sounds almost too good to be true, but the science backs it up. Even simple practices like mindful breathing, which we covered in episode 4, can have measurable effects on our body's stress signals and our overall health.
And the beauty of this transformation is that it's not a destination. It's an ongoing journey. It's about continually coming back to the present moment again and again. Each time we do, we reinforce that mental muscle. In episode 11, we talked about creating sustainable daily anchors. That's the practice that makes this holistic shift a lived reality, not just a concept.
So, the integration of all these practices, the breath, the sensory anchors, the mindful technology used from episode 5, the deep listening, the flow states, the emotional regulation, all converge to create this transformed life. It's like each previous episode was a building block, and this episode is showing us the fully constructed home.
That's a fantastic analogy, Lisa. The home of a more present, fulfilling, and resilient life. It's a life where you're not just going through the motions, but truly experiencing and engaging with each moment. It's about reclaiming your attention, not just from technology, but from the internal chatter that can keep us out of the present.
And this is the essence of the presence principle, isn't it? It's about recognizing that the power to transform our lives lies not in manipulating external circumstances, but in cultivating our internal state of being by anchoring ourselves fully in the here and now.
Exactly. This transformation allows us to navigate life's inevitable challenges with greater calm and clarity. It fosters gratitude for the simple things, deepens our appreciation for the people in our lives, and allows us to approach each day with a renewed sense of purpose and possibility. It's a fundamental shift in how we relate to ourselves, to others, and to the world around us.
So, to recap this transformative journey, we've seen how presence enhances our work and creativity by enabling flow states. It deepens our relationships through mindful connection and deep listening. It fosters self-awareness and emotional resilience by allowing us to observe our thoughts and feelings without being overwhelmed, and it leads to a profound increase in overall well-being and health. It's a holistic shift that touches every aspect of our lives.
And that brings us to the cusp of our final episode. We're going to talk about how to make this ongoing journey of presence a sustainable, lifelong practice.
I can't wait. So, join us next time for our final episode, Living the Presence Principle, your ongoing journey.
Welcome back to the Presence Principle. This is the final episode of our series.
That's right, Alex. This isn't about reaching some finish line and being perfectly present forever. It's a practice, a continuous unfolding. We've learned about the power of our senses, the simple yet profound anchor of our breath, and how to manage our relationship with technology. We've delved into deep listening and how to bring presence into our relationships, especially with children. And we've even touched upon managing our inner world, letting go of the past and future worries to be more here, now.
Exactly. And today we want to synthesize all of that. We want to equip you with the understanding that living the presence principle is about integrating these practices into the fabric of your daily life. It's about making conscious choices, moment by moment, to return to yourself, to your surroundings, and to the people you're with.
So, let's start with a quick recap of our journey. We began by defining presence, that state of being fully engaged with what's happening right now, without judgment. We talked about how modern life bombards us with distractions, pulling our attention in countless directions. Remember how we described distraction as the cost of not being present? It leads to missed connections, reduced effectiveness, and a general feeling of being scattered.
And the first set of practical tools we introduced were sensory anchors. Things like focusing on the feeling of your feet on the ground, the texture of an object in your hand, or the sounds around you. These are simple, immediate ways to bring your awareness back to the physical reality of the moment. We then spend a good amount of time on the breath. It's your most accessible, reliable anchor. Just noticing your inhale and exhale can be a powerful way to ground yourself when your mind starts to wander.
Oh, the breath. It's so fundamental. And then we moved into a big one, mastering your technology. We discussed how our devices are designed to capture our attention and how we can be more intentional about their use. It's not about abandoning technology, but about using it on our terms, not letting it use us.
That's a key distinction. And from there, we explored deep listening. This is where presence really transforms our relationships. Instead of planning our response or being distracted, deep listening is about being fully with the other person, hearing not just their words, but their emotions and intentions. We saw how this can make conversations richer and more meaningful.
And for so many listeners, the chapter on parenting with presence resonated deeply. It's about shifting from chaos management to genuine connection, being truly available to our children even in busy moments. This leads us into the concept of flow states. Remember when we talked about how presence is often a prerequisite for achieving that state of effortless focus and enjoyment in our activities? It's where peak performance meets profound joy.
Correct. And then we turned inwards. We learned about the importance of releasing the past, letting go of regrets and resentments that anchor us to what's already happened. This frees up mental and emotional energy to be present. And conversely, we addressed banishing future worries. This isn't about ignoring planning, but about not getting lost in anxieties about what might happen. It's about cultivating peace by accepting what is now.
It really highlights how presence isn't just about external awareness, but internal peace as well. Then, we focused on finding your daily anchors. This is where it becomes practical and sustainable. Identifying specific times or activities that naturally lend themselves to mindful moments, whether it's your morning coffee, your commute, or a short walk. Creating those little touch points throughout the day.
And that led us to the transformation of presence, seeing how all these pieces come together to create a holistic shift in how we experience life. It's a profound change, not just a superficial fix. Now, as we close this series, the most important thing to remember is that this is your ongoing journey.
Absolutely. Living the presence principle means understanding that every day, every hour, every minute offers a new opportunity to practice. There will be days when you feel more present than others, and that's perfectly okay. The goal isn't perfection, it's persistence. It's about your intention to return.
Think of it like tending a garden. You wouldn't plant seeds and expect a fully grown garden overnight. You water them, weed them, and provide the right conditions. Cultivating presence is similar. You use the tools and techniques we've discussed, your breath, your senses, mindful technology use, deep listening, as you're watering and weeding. You nurture that inner space.
And sometimes you'll find yourself completely off track, lost in thought or distraction. When that happens, don't judge yourself. Just notice it. That's the first step back. Then, gently, kindly guide your attention back, perhaps to your breath or the feel of your chair beneath you. It's like a gentle redirection, a friendly nudge back towards the present.
This ongoing practice builds resilience. The more you practice returning, the stronger your presence muscle becomes. You'll find yourself more easily noticing when you've drifted and more adept at bringing yourself back. It starts to feel more natural, more second nature.
And the cumulative effect of this practice is transformative. Your relationships deepen. Your work becomes more focused and fulfilling. Your appreciation for the simple joys of life expands. You begin to experience a greater sense of peace and well-being, not because your circumstances have dramatically changed, but because your experience of those circumstances has shifted.
So, as we wrap up this series, consider what aspect of presence you want to focus on this week. Maybe it's dedicating 5 minutes each morning to mindful breathing, or committing to putting your phone away during meals with your family. Pick one small, actionable step. What's one thing you can do today to be more fully here?
And remember, you have all the tools we've discussed: sensory anchors, your breath, intentional technology use, deep listening, releasing past worries, and letting go of future anxieties. These aren't just concepts, they are your practical guides. These are the pathways to a richer, more connected, and more fulfilling life.
The presence principle is truly a lifelong practice, an unfolding adventure. It's about learning to savor each moment, to engage fully with the life that is unfolding for you right now. You are the architect of your experience, and presence is your most powerful tool.
So keep practicing, keep returning, keep choosing to be fully here. You've gained so much knowledge throughout the series, and now it's time to live it. Thank you for joining us on this journey. It's been an incredible experience to explore the presence principle with you all. Thanks for listening to this series.